story is extremely important in any video game. I think one of the things that really gets people invested in playing is wanting to discover what's happening.
The thing we didn't want is people to say, they just didn't really do anything. They just did and repeated Dead Space 1 again. You can sell just shooting necromorphs in the limbs for a while, but that, after a while, that has to have a context in which to sit.
We took something that started with kind of a cliched idea, space miners getting attacked by aliens in space, and we embellished on it, added our own twist to it, created our weird religion that we layered on top of everything. We created the ancient artifact, the marker, the enigma of the whole story, and we threw all those elements together. I feel like what we ended up with in the end was actually something really unique.
A lot of games will basically make a movie, chop it up, and then put gameplay in between the bits of movie, right?
Right.
For Dead Space and Dead Space 2, it was so important to maintain the immersive nature of that horror experience. We never wanted to pull people out and tell them, hey, you're watching a movie. We wanted people to always experience it as, hey, I'm in this movie.
We kind of came around to the idea of our video log system and the way that we approach those in-game storytelling moments. We really strive to make sure that the player has some degree of control during those sequences. Not cutting away means that we have to kind of contend with the fact that people could miss something. So we put a lot of effort in trying to craft those sequences to make sure that the player not only gets the key critical story element, but also feels like they're still attached to the game.
I love the character of Isaac Clarke. In Dead Space 2, it was a huge opportunity, I felt, to really embellish that character and really pull out all the themes and elements that we wanted to explore.
Good stories tend to revolve around a character that has something wrong with them, something that's identifiable.
We go for kind of a very realistic character. They're not hyper-realistic. They need to look like everyday people that we can relate to, believe in.
In Dead Space 1, he was a mute protagonist that didn't say anything. He always had his helmet on. You only got to see his face at the very beginning and at the very end. And it kind of covered up some of the personal elements of him. It was really more about what the player was imagining that he was thinking or doing or reacting to.
DS2, so new challenge arrived, was to create a different suit through the game and to be able to see the face of Isaac, give him a personality, and I did more detail into the texture and the model.
With Dead Space 2, we really wanted to focus the story around Isaac, tell the story of what happened to him emotionally in between the two games and kind of how that manifests itself again as that conflict with Nicole. She makes a return appearance in the form of an inner demon, so to speak, something he's dealing with. And that's not seen by anyone except, of course, the player and Isaac.
She evolves through Dead Space 2 to reflect the things that are going on in Isaac's mind, and any breakthroughs that he makes are reflected in her character. She gave us an opportunity to tell a deeper part of Isaac's past and psyche without having to have Isaac himself say anything about it. When she appears, she's really a product of his memory of her. Her actual appearance reflects the guilt that he feels and that he left her to die. So she looks dead, and because the only thing he had left of her was this video clip of her. All of his memories really are associated with video clips. So when she appears in Dead Space 2, her eyes and mouth and her voice especially is all influenced by the decay of video and static, that weird little twist on his memory of her, kind of influencing the look of her and the sound of her.
Games are competitive on story. I think that's what makes a franchise, first of all. And you've got to have a narrative that's running and people are interested in watching it. I don't think we've even scratched the surface of what our media can do yet, or what games can do yet. I think that you're in a 4D experience, you're in a dynamic experience.
A good movie transforms you in some way, or leaves you with a good emotional state. It takes you on an emotional journey. And I think games are now maturing to that point.